Transaction is one of the most common words in the world of credit, debit, and prepaid card processing. Cardholders and merchants do transactions. Banks approve transactions. Back office teams dispute transactions. But what is a transaction? Let's uncover this mystery by working through a basic definition of a transaction. A transaction is a type of interaction. Let's stop there for a second. What is an interaction, and what types of interactions exist? Our quickest way to understand this word is to break it into its component parts. Inter is a prefix that came to us from Latin. It means among or between. An action is something done, typically to accomplish a purpose or a goal. So, an interaction is something done between two or more parties to accomplish a purpose or a goal. Therefore, everything I do that touches someone or something else is an interaction. That's pretty basic, eh? Yes, and very important too. Identifying and understanding interactions is one of the critical building blocks in the payment card industry. So, what are some types of interactions? Informational. In this type of interaction, one party provides useful data and context to the receiving party or parties. This video is a type of an informational interaction. However, if you comment on this video and I respond to your comment, we can then move from an informational interaction to a relational interaction. Relational interactions are critically important as they can build understanding, empathy, and trust between the parties. I find that relational interactions can make training and learning much more effective than informational interactions on their own. While information builds knowledge, relationships build community, understanding, and wisdom. Transactional is a third type of interaction and the focus of this video. As we said earlier, a transaction is a type of interaction that facilitates an exchange of value between parties. Any interaction whose primary purpose is the exchange of value between parties is a transaction. Believe it or not, we've spent our whole lives doing transactions. What are some examples? As children, we probably traded collectibles with our friends. In my childhood, it was hockey cards. During my son's childhood, they traded Beyblade battling tops. The grown-up version of this trading transaction is called bartering. School has transactional components in addition to its informational and relational components. The exchange of fees and tuition for learning is a transaction. As well, if I, as a student, pass my tests, I am promoted to a higher level, and that is transactional. Paying taxes is transactional. My money and yours fund the services governments provide back to us. Employment has transactional aspects to it as well. If you fulfill the requirements of your job, you get a paycheck. Oh, yes, and lest we forget, from the shopping we do at stores and online to the purchase orders created at a corporate level, these are all transactions. So, what characteristics do all transactions share? Or, in other words, what are the required components of a transaction? First, agreed perceived value. Until all parties see value and agree on the value of what is being transacted, no transaction can take place. From our first childhood trade of a pack of bubble gum for a comic book, we have assessed each transaction by the value of what is being exchanged. A contract. Every transaction is surrounded by a contract. The contract terms are found in civil law, which documents the legal requirements of a transaction. Terms can also be printed on the back of a store's receipt paper or written on a website's terms and conditions page or contained in an official contract document related to the purchase. No matter how it's documented, each contract defines the responsibilities of the parties, like who provides the money and who provides the goods. Limits on liability. When something goes wrong, how much blame and responsibility goes to which party? Terms of ownership. When I purchase a banana, I own the banana. But if I purchase software, I purchase permission to use the software. I don't purchase the software itself. And finally, remediation options related to the transaction. How do I do a warranty claim? Once the value and terms of the transaction have been defined, we have to figure out how to exchange value for value. This is the conveyance part of the transaction. The conveyance is how the value will be exchanged. Typically, one side of the transaction involves something that carries its own value. This may be an item, service, membership, or anything else the parties have agreed has value. The other side of the exchange brings equivalent value back to the party providing the item, service, or membership. This side of the exchange can be done with barter. As we said earlier, barter is an exchange of value for value. A pack of bubblegum for a comic book is a barter transaction. Cash is perceived as being a convenient conveyance. However, it lacks the flexibility and portability of other payment options. Have you ever reached the store's checkout and found you weren't carrying enough cash for the purchase? Now that is embarrassing. E-transfers are gaining popularity as online banking and banking apps give the parties involved in the transactions ready access to the funds in their accounts. It will be interesting to watch how this conveyance develops in the coming years. Payment cards can be connected to lines of credit, prepaid accounts, demand deposit accounts, or other sources of funds. Payment cards began about 60 years ago and have a very interesting history. Check. Unfortunately, this outdated financial conveyance can still be used in too many places. Checks predate payment cards and pose significant risks from fraud, theft, and people's poor money management skills. While financing has been used for years in major purchases like houses and cars, the buy now, pay later industry has turned its attention in recent years to smaller ticket purchases. Have you noticed recently that your bank or credit card provider offers to break your large purchases into manageable monthly payments? That is financing. As you can see, transactions are a core part of our daily lives. Even a parent-child trade of "finish your vegetables and you can have dessert" contains all the elements of a transaction that we've listed in this video. What if paying my credit card balance was rewarded with a dessert? Yes, that is why so many payment products today include loyalty rewards. Even the grown-up world wants its dessert reward. In this video, we have uncovered the basics of what a transaction is. In the next video, we will break a payment card transaction open to find out who is involved when you or I do a transaction. Just click on the video link on the screen to continue our journey together. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. If you have more questions about the payments industry, leave a message in the comments below. You can also contact me through my website, mentoredbymarkt.com, or via email, markt@mentoredbymarkt.com.